Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's your brother Amawar Rakar. Back with another lesson, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Makakodash, the honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone of all world. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. You know, pushing this word into truth and sincerity in this last day, man. I just want to spirit told me to do this one real quick because you know, that woman that got put to death in that Minnesota, man, by them ICE agents. You know, but basically that was, I'm going to get into that part of it. I'll just say that was judgment, man. You know, if someone would say it was judgment for the lifestyle she was living, but at the end of the day, it was still, if you look at the laws of the land, man, you know, it was unrighteous, it was unlawful. But look, the point is that the times we're coming into, man, it's just showing you. You can see more of this. I mean, there's literally thousands of people. I'm going to go to a little story in a minute. But you know, there's thousands of people out there protesting. Worst thing about that, though, is that if that was you know, look how quickly that sparked that sort of pushback. You know, if that was a Jake, you know, the response wouldn't be like this. You know, let's just keep it real. But at the end of the day, that is what it is, man. We're downtrodden people, man. We're the lowest of the low according to this society. But anyway, man, this is just showing you, you know, it's a preface of things to come, man. Is there going to be plenty more of these type of things, because you know, this place is becoming more and more unrighteous every day, like openly. It's always been this way for a long time, but it's more open now. People are seeing it in you know, live. People are seeing it right in front of their faces on their social media apps, on TV, and on the news and everything. So, you know, you got Emperor Trump out there just going crazy, alluring to himself. And this is all being pushed, so people will, you know, to push us into this new world order, man. Because they need this to happen so they can start, you know, changing laws and stuff, man. Putting martial laws out there. Well, that's going to happen. Alright, but let me read this and I want to get to the article, man. This is 2nd Ezra's 9th chapter, and starting at 1, it says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So, what's that mean, man? That's why you're supposed to keep an eye on what's going on out here, man. Because these are part of the signs past, right? So this is how we know how close we are, you know, to as much as we can measure it, as the scripture says, to the end. Verse 3 says, Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which this is an uproar, but why? Because it's a lot of unjust behaviour, man. You got these ICE agents running around America, literally just kidnapping people, man. If you look or sound like you're not a so-called white American, they're on you. Right? If you got the slightest accent and you're brown, they're on you, man. And the worst thing about it is a lot of them are actually like that themselves. It's crazy. So, you know, walking around as a brown citizen in America, you could even imagine you could be a tourist and going out there, right? And that could happen to you. Why would you want to go out there now anyway, man? That place is finished. That's only a matter of time, man. Before the other prophecies start kicking in, Yahushua comes back and, you know, and the Lord sets it in motion where the other nations start throwing their ICBMs at that place, man. So there's verse 4 says, Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things before the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Right, so the end is being manifested right now. You know, and the Lord's time, to us it seems slow, especially to the prophets, man, because we want to get the hell out of here, right? But we have to wait. But it's building up, man. 2026 is going to be a mad year. We thought 2025 was crazy. 2026 is going to go hyper, man. Right? Verse 6, even so the times of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and in powerful works, and endings, in effects and signs, man. It says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. So the prophets, man, and once again the elect, those that are doing the work of Yahweh Shai, right, those that believe and have the faith, man. It says, shall be preserved from set perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the very beginning. So that's the first fruits, you know, the ones that were there in the beginning, the first spirits that helped create this place, man. Alright, so let's get to this article real quick. So anti-ICE protesters assemble across the US, right, after shootings in Minneapolis and Portland. Minneapolis is on the edge since the killing of Renee Good on Wednesday by an immigration and customs enforcement officer. And now, you know, this is Sunday the 11th of January. This was posted up yesterday, Saturday.
Everyone's play fighting all the time. Took a little bit of my wig from the Hunger Games. What? You just. Can I go check a poll? No! Back up! Now!
So imagine they blasted this woman in the face. Right? You know, that's why there's a wicked spirit on these guys. Because they blasted her in the face and they won't even let you know, get medical attention, man. Right? Thousands of people marched in Minneapolis Saturday to protest the fatal shooting of a woman by a federal immigration officer there and the shooting of two people in Portland, Oregon, as Minnesota leaders urged demonstrators to remain peaceful. The Minneapolis gathering was one of hundreds of protests planned in towns and cities across the country over the weekend. It came in a city on edge since the killing of Renee Good on Wednesday by an immigration and customs enforcement officer. I'm really trying, not there you go, I was trying to find a picture of the overhead helicopter footage of the amount of people that was out there, man. You know, saw a video today, this guy was saying, look, man, the rest of the world is looking at us in shame because, you know, they're not doing anything. And look, we're not talking, we don't care about, we're not out there going to be out there protesting and that, but this is what we need. We need them to start getting out there on the streets and protesting to fulfill these prophecies. So, like I said, we just want to get out of here, man. So we want this thing to speed up. So yeah, it's you know, when you think about it, you know, it's good that you know, that all this madness is actually occurring, man. Because all it is fulfilling prophecy, man. Alright. See what the images are saying, maybe there. Well, there's plenty of it going on, right? Eyesight of NYC. They're not wanted, man, but this guy doesn't care, man. And look, sooner or later, these people are going to start turning on their own government, right? And putting out their own artilleries, man, their own weaponry on these people, man. You know? This let me get something else for a minute. So let's go here. Isaiah 10:1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. So, you know, a lot of these ICE agents are operating under the law, or under what the laws that they've been told that they're allowed to use. Well, you know, state to state, there's different laws, man, different statutes, man. Alright? And what they're doing is unrighteous, man. You can't just be putting people up, you know, asking for who they are and all of that, and then, you know, deporting people just because, or wanting to just because they sound a different way. You know, and it just goes to show you, you know, this is all really, you know, to target Jake at the end of the day. And it's all about oppression. It's all about oppression, man, because that's that New World Order, man, is an oppressive ideal. You know, it's about controlling the masses, putting the RFID in them, you know, and minimizing the population, man. Then we get back to this. So verse 2 says, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Right, let's go here, man. 2 Ezra 15:14 says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Right? So that sedition is happening right now. Right? And mark our words, or mark the words of the scriptures, man. There's going to be plenty more of that to come. This is just the beginning. You know, it might seem shocking to the unlearned, or to those that don't have any understanding about how things are going to go down. You know, when all changes that have been made in history have been made with violence, man, and it's just the same as us going into that transition of us, you know, Esau was the beginning of the world and Jacob was the beginning of it that followed, man. That transition is going to come by way of violence. Verse 17 says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So that's where it's going to head, right? Because after all, like I said previously, after all these protests and all the violence that's going to occur, you know, this could die down, right? I mean, you know, there'll be another distraction or whatever, but eventually you're going to see more and more of this, man. You know, there's going to be cities on fire all over the world, man, right? And then what do they do after that? That's when they start getting really heavy-handed. You think this ISIS heavy-handed now? You wait till the military's out there on the streets telling you where you can and cannot go, and how late you can be out on the streets, and asking for your ID, and you will have no choice, man. Right, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. Right, just like they're getting trouble right now. New York, Minneapolis, or whatever. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbour, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of their lack of bread for great tribulation. So ultimately, this is what this is about, the tribulation that's coming. Right, like Jacob's trouble, man. It ain't called Jacob's trouble for nothing, right? It's called Jacob's trouble because Israelites are going to get it the worst. Micah 6:6 says, wherewith shall I come before the Lord, and bow myself before the high power? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings and calves of a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with the thousands of rams, or with 10,000 of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God. The rulers of this earth do not understand this. That's not how they move, right? When we set up the kingdom, man, although we're going to come down hard on the heathens and Esau's going to get it, right, we're still going to move justly according to what? The law of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Alright? When people get put, I'll say put under in our kingdom, man, it's because they deserve it. It's because the judgment has been passed, accordingly. Listen, a person driving away does not deserve to get shot in the face, right? Because they're driving away in the car. These guys are like villains, man. I mean, they're walking around, you can't even see their faces, man. And that's because that's so they can move with impunity. Meaning that there will be no consequence. You can't even see their faces. They can't even get doxed online because you don't know who they are. Right? And when people wear masks, I'll say this: when people wear masks, it gives you a different persona and it gives you a sense of confidence sometimes, because now no one can see your face, so you feel like you can do whatever you like, man, without consequence. All right. That's what I remember. That just came into my head. I remember that Amazing Spider-Man movie, right, with Andrew Garfield, and he's saving a young boy who's on the bridge in the car's going to fall, and he gives the boy his mask, and he says, put the mask on, it gives me power. Why? Because no one can see your face. No one can judge you because they can't see you. So you can do or feel or be however you want to be. That is done by design, man. He's put them out there. They've been ordered to put these masks on, man. Some people reckon a lot of them are them criminals from that attack on that, I can't remember, was it January 6th when they attacked that building? The far right guys. A lot of people believe it's them. Anyway, moving on. Let's just get this last one, man. I'm going to close out after this. Isaiah 5:20 says, well, unto them are called evil good, and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And a lot of these media outlets, especially in Babylon, America, right, are justifying this. Right? Those that are listen, they always like to separate with the left and the right. There is a difference between the way they portray themselves. You don't really know if there's a difference between how they really are behind closed doors. Ultimately, it's that two-party system, going back to the Roman Empire, man. But look, that right side of things definitely shows their ass. They show how racist they are, and how they lack empathy and sympathy, man. They want to back Trump's administration. This is all about backing Trump's administration. So they're out there on the news outlets saying, yeah, this was a terrible, tragic event, but she shouldn't have, but we got to say, what I mean? So they're trying to justify, and to the point where they're literally pretending that we haven't seen the video. Right? It says, woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. This is not wisdom, is it? It's not wisdom to go around behaving this way, because you obviously think that the people are that dumbed down. Well, no, you don't really think they're that dumbed down. I'm actually contradicting myself. They know the people aren't that dumbed down. They're just trying to find that catalyst, man, to really push it. Right? Like Revelation 12:12, man. Let me get that and I'll close out on that one, man. These things are by design, all right. The actions you won't. Why would you think Trump is pushing this sort of behaviour so hard, man? Because he's trying to push people over the edge, man. Revelation 12:12 says, "Rejoice, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inheritors of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." So it's about to get sped up, man. They keep talking about 2030, right? You know, that seems to be the number that everyone wants to round off when things are going to get real serious, man. But listen, it could be another 4 years, man. Lord willing, it isn't, man. Can't imagine another 4 years of this. But hey, you know, that is still short in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. I'll say that. So yeah, man. Yeah, that's it on that. Just you just gotta keep an eye on it, man. There's gonna be more of this stuff coming out. You know, plenty of information will be coming out. Plenty of uproars. You know. Anyway, man. Shalom. I'm out.